Fresh off of the back of the international break, David Moyes' West Ham United took the trip up to Turf Moor to take on bottom of the league Burnley at Turf Moor. I hope you are well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on this opposition preview, where I'm going to try and make some sense of what the hell is going on at Burnley. Dan from Turf Moor House TV. He's been on the channel before, but we are welcoming him back. Dan, how are you?
I'm surprisingly all right for a team bottom of the league, to be honest, Jake. It's nice to be back chatting to some old faces again this season. But yeah, it's not been the best of times, has it, so far?
Well, to be honest, I looked that we're playing Burnley next, so I got on the phone to you straight away because I'm not going to be able to I'm not going to be able to talk to you again for another 4 years because it's not going well, is it?
It's definitely not going well. I don't know what it is. There's quite a few things, but I'm sure we'll get into it. And I think I've set myself up for a long, hard season.
Give us a timeline then. So you got relegated a couple of seasons ago. A superb campaign in the Championship, so I heard. Don't know. I don't follow that league really. Last year, and then just give us a timeline from going down to coming back up. What's happened in the last couple of years in Burnley?
It's kind of been a bit mad, really. We've obviously went down. A lot of people were thinking, "Oh, what happens with Burnley now? They've got rid of the best manager they've had in years under Sean Dash, and are they going to have back-to-back relegations? What's going to happen?" But so much changed in such a little time. I mean, not just the players, but from the management to the stadium, the infrastructure at the club as well. You know, people within it, the people that behind the scenes. So a lot has changed, even at boardroom level. The philosophy, the style of football, and yet it's basically like being thrown a bag and said, right, have a look at that. Is that good enough? I didn't think we'd have got hold of Vincent Kompany when we went down. I thought if he were going to come to us, it would have been if we'd have stayed up. I thought if anything, we probably would have been able to Rooney maybe from Derby at the time, as if we were still going along that, bringing in somebody with a name.
Yeah.
But Kompany believed in what the board told him, and it was just a phenomenal season. Nothing short of absolute, just beautiful stuff. I mean, I remember going down to Sunderland last season, 2-0 down at half time, and it's the first time ever I've ever said I want to leave early, because this has been an absolute shambles. And I'm glad I didn't. Because we turned that game around 1-4-2. I smashed my glasses. It was just a pandemonium of a day, but it was good on all accounts. And then sort of, you've got to admit that we had quite a lot of loan players as well. The likes of Harwood Bellis, Ian Matson, Nathan Teller, just to name a few. So you're thinking promotion, can we potentially get them permanently? Especially when, with Taylor Harwood Bellis, City signing Vardoyle, and then you had Teller, is he going to go back to Southampton when we've been promoted, they've been relegated? And Matson weren't really getting game time at Chelsea either in the last year of his contract. So these are players I think we probably looked at, but from what I've heard, Southampton used an intermediary instead of dealing with the player transfers themselves. So that's what scuppered the deal with Nathan Teller. Ian Matson was all for a move to Burnley, but after playing out in the pre-season American tournament, he was happy enough to try and fight for a place at Stamford Bridge. And Harwood Bellis, I think we'd already signed Jordan Bayer on a permanent, which might have eaten a chunk of the budget for bringing Harwood Bellis in. But I thought he would have come with having that City connection. However, he's gone down to Southampton. He's doing all right there. And yeah, hopefully see him in claret and blue again one day. But, we spent 100 million. Let's not forget that. We've spent 100 million this transfer window, and I don't know what bank we robbed, how we've got away with it, because literally we struggled to stump up the cash for a flump, let alone a pig in Fredo. So, we finally got some money spent. But for me, we've spent it on, yes, young players. but they're not ready. The jump from the Championship to the Premier League is massive. I
The
think
thing I've
even
seen,
Vincent Kompany
just
said it as well.
you know,
Well,
the thing I've seen, I haven't watched a great deal of Burnley this year, but from what I have seen is that it was brilliant last year and come up and just, as you said, haven't looked ready. And I looked through that team sheet that you've got there, and I don't know whether it's just me, there just looks like there's no focal point and identity of the side. And do you think there's been players that were very good last year in the Championship but have just gone missing a little bit this year at the bigger level?
yeah, like let's not doubt the fact that yes, they are still very young. We've got a lot of our average age of the squad went down massively. I mean, I know that the sort of players Sean Dyche liked to sign. You know, you were Englishing on your last legs with probably riddled in injuries throughout your career. And now we've delved into the foreign market, got these youngsters that, as I were going to say, Kompany came in with this vision of bring these young players in 2 to 3 seasons, then get promotion. You know, let these players sort of build. I don't think he realised how much of a meteoric rise we had over the course of that one season. So this year, like I said at the beginning, I'd take 17th and above. You've got to be real. You know, head and heart say different things. Top 10 finish, we could do a Brighton, we could get Europa Conference, but, you know, it's just pipe dreams. The one thing I dislike right at the minute is a lot of people questioning Vincent Kompany. Again, still a young manager, still learning. And the only thing I'd have bad to say is, please, if you do come across this, drop James Trafford, because his confidence is shot. I mean, I don't understand why half of the players on our bench this season were first team starters last year. And those players have got so much better over a campaign. Then you spend money on these other players that, again, like I said, it's naivete, this youth. I'd have kept hold of Ashley Barnes and got rid of Rodriguez for me. I think because you've got that sort of daddy figure in the dressing room. And also, I think it'd be a bit like a Vardy for Leicester. Come on the last 10 minutes, be a bit of a shithouse up top. You know, but
yeah,
it's been difficult to watch because the football's there. You can see the contrasting football from the dash ball to Kompany ball. It's completely. I never thought I'd see a Burnley side playing it out from the back, but we're trying to match teams.
Yeah.
We are trying to match teams, and I think that's where it gets us. I think Kompany needs to open his mind up and go, hold on a minute. Yes, I've been at Manchester City for a few years, but I'm in Burnley now.
Yeah.
Like, this is Burnley. I can't just expect it to work overnight. It's going to take time, but I want people to sort of, I can't believe I'm going to quote Arsenal, but trust the process, Burnley fans. Trust the process. Bloody hell.
I mean, the thing, you know, we've got a Premier League roundup show every week, and whenever we talk about Burnley, I think we always come back to the same point that, and we said the same as what you said there about Ashley Barnes, is keeping hold of an Ashley Barnes. It's not only just for that figure as well, but it's for that figure and having just that little bit more Premier League experience in there. Because I look at Luton and they've brought in Ross Barkley and someone else who's played in the Premier League before.
Townsend,
and yes, they aren't going to be,
Townsend.
you know, Andros Townsend, that's it. You know, they aren't going to be brilliant players, but they're going to, you know, they've got heads on them who have played in the Premier League before and have got that bit more experience. So do you think that with the process that companies try to instill into Burnley, the promotion came too quick?
Yeah, very. I think you see teams like your Norwich, your West Broms, your Watfords who have yo-yoed over the years. I don't want us to be one of them, because we never have been. Okay, we went up, we went down, and I think we spent 2 seasons down and then came back up. But we just need stability. We've never been that sort of club that chops and changes their managers left, right, and centre. We stuck with Dash when we got relegated before. So if we do get relegated with Kompany, so what? So what? The only thing that would be on my mind is how much money we've spent, what happens on relegation, etc. But these are all if, buts, and maybes right now. I mean, we could be saved on the technicality of Everton receiving a 12-point deduction. I mean, I'd rather us do it on our own back. But it's just been tough. It's been tough. The players keep seeming to think it's going to come together. And I think we need to trust that. I think when it gets to around mid to late February, that's when we should really be thinking, right, something's got to give.
Let's push on. Yeah. You know, I wasn't entirely sure what your position on Vincent Company was going to be coming into this. And when I wrote some questions down, because I remember last time I spoke to you, we asked the question of would you rather go down and keep Dyche or get rid of Dyche and stay up? And you said you'd rather go down and keep Dyche. Now at that stage you got rid of both of it. You know, you went down and you got rid of Dyche. Do you think there's been an element of naivety from Company in the way that he wants to play? Forest did the same last year. They brought in loads of players. They tried to play an expansive brand of football. It didn't work, and they put the brakes on, parked the bus, and managed to stay up. Do you think that that's what Burnley need here? Whether it's to just put the brakes on the expansive style of football, play a Sean Dyche way of football, and try and frustrate teams and win 1-0?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think there were a few games last season. We got beat off QPR last year, who hadn't won since the turn of the World Cup.
Right.
Come to Turf Moor, and they ended up going away with all 3 points. And they did what the old Burnley used to do. They soaked up that pressure from us. They just let us come at them nothing were happening. Defended for their lives and ended up nicking it 2-1. And you're just thinking, wow, we've just been Burnleyed. And I mean, there's no other way of looking at it. So I think we do need to have that side of us as well, because it's all well and good having possession, wanting to take control of the ball, play out from the back. Yeah, I'm all for it. But you look at teams of the past, like Sir Alex Ferguson's sides, who even they didn't really play with much possession. But what they did is they countered fast. They utilised their wingers and managed to get bodies forward quickly when they were after the retaining possession in defensive areas. I think that's something we need to do instead of farting about with a team full of Jordan Hendersons passing it sideways and backwards all game. So I don't know. I'm frustrated. I am frustrated as a fan, but there's still that element that says it's going to come right. Sometimes you've just got to hope and pray that it will. I mean, there's been 2 or 3 games where we've had VAR against us. Yay, promotion, back in the big time. I can speak to all my friends again. And then you got realization. Yeah, you went ball its net. You have to wait 20 minutes before you can find out whether it's in again. So
that's the way.
It's hard,
I can sort of understand I can understand the frustrations, and I'd be incredibly frustrated, and I sort of admire sticking with it. Is there a sort of fan base wide generic opinion that they're going to stick with Company if things keep going? They've got 4 points in 12 games, it's not looking good. The goal difference isn't great. Is there a distinct feeling around the Burnley fan base that if they do go down this year, they're going to stick with Company and try and go again?
I think you've got to. Like I say, every manager really is going to go through hard knocks in life. I mean, even as a human being, not just as a manager or a footballer, we all go through hard knocks. I mean, I look at Lyle Foster now. He's been our source of goals in the Championship last year. He was absolutely dog crap. And that's no offence to him. Maybe it was just because he'd just come to a new league from abroad. And at the moment, I'd just like to say I wish him the very best with his mental health. Because it's a silent killer, basically. And I just hope that, it'll be all right. Being in Burnley isn't all that bad, Lau. That's all I'll say. Forget the results. All the shit all over town. Just
see, even you could admit it and you live in the place, see?
Exactly. But no, I just... We need to stick with him. We need to stick with it. I think it was Alan Pace who said, having Vincent Company as manager at the moment, I mean, when we got promoted and times were good, he said it's like going out with the best looking girl on the estate. Everybody wants to go out with her. You're not the best looking guy, but she's yours at the moment, and you do everything you can to keep hold of her. And I thought, okay,
that's an interesting
a little bit, of an American way of going down the Ian Holloway route, but I see where you're going, Alan. It's not a problem. But I do think we need to keep that. That a lot of people were saying when we got promoted, right, jump ship Company, jump ship now while the going's good. Why are other managers saying that? you've got to take the hard knocks. I just don't want company to become another Gerrard, Lampard, forget your footballing career. You Vincent Company, the manager now.
Yeah, of course.
That's where it's got to be. But I'd stick with him. Relegation or not, stick with him.
There we go. Attention, turning to the game then. Now, the stats been doing the rounds on my Twitter feed for sure that you haven't won a game at home yet. And rock at West Ham United. We all know what's going to happen here. But the one thing I will say is that first question is, can you or has Company deviated from the expansive style of football at any point so far this season? No? Is it been?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, formation-wise, he's changed it, but he's still tried to be expansive. I mean, against Palace, yes, we lost 2-0, but that was the best performance I'd ever seen us. We were amazing, absolutely outstanding. Just couldn't finish for love nor money. So you get sucker punched with 2 goals. It's hard when you have managers and players of other teams coming out saying Burnley will get it right at some point. The way they play, the way they are, it's hard to break them down. It's nice to hear that. But can we have that now, please? Can we have that? There's going to be that, not what we're going to be. I sound like that Scouser. I don't do if buts or maybes. I do absolutes. But it's
the thing with it is when you're down there, and we've been there, things just don't go your way. And the one thing that I'm, the positivity that I'm holding on to here is that if Moyes is watching this, which I'm sure he will, hello Dave, hope you well, mate, he will be loving this because we struggle when sides sit back and do what we want to do, because we will happily give you 80% possession, and we will happily sit at the edge of our box and do you either a set piece or on a counter attack. That's what we try and do. Yeah,
that is the killer for us. Set pieces, we have been awful, absolutely dreadful. So if you Arsenal did it. All they kept playing for were corners.
Yeah,
most of the game because they knew full well if they get the ball into the box, get somebody like William Saliba or Gabriel on the ball, bang, goal.
It's our biggest threat. With Ward-Prowse whipping them in, we've got some lumps that can head the ball in there as well. It's our biggest threat.
Twitter page put that on the other day that when you think, we've got West Ham a potential winnable game, and then realise Ward-Prowse is the set piece taker, and it showed someone just go like,
"Oh, it's different gravy." So, he is.
He is. Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts on West Ham then? Let's switch things up a bit. We've talked about Burnley enough. West Ham, what have you? What have you made of the start of the season from the outside looking in? Of course, you viewed the triumph last year from the Championship, just looking up. What have you made of the Hammers?
I don't think you've done too bad, to be fair. It's been a tough. What am I doing?
What are you doing?
No, something's just gone absolutely wrong. Some reason, but like I say, ninth position. At this point of the season, I think you'd happily take that right now. Above Chelsea as well, always a good sign.
Of course.
But it was always going to be a tough year this year, I thought for teams. We've seen, Spurs have done the Arsenal last season potentially right now. When the going's good, Arsenal falls out and they've fallen off. Newcastle having Champions League, that could derail the season. I like the grit and determination by West Ham. Again, a club that has stuck by David Moyes through all the crap, the gold, the Sullivan, stuff, and it's just been, it's nice to see you doing well. Like I say, at least 2 of the teams in claret and blue in the Premier League can actually get results. Hopefully, we can put a third one in there.
Okay.
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. The thing with it is that it's been a really up and down season for us. We were 2-1 down at Forest, and there was a lot of people calling for his head, as there has done for a while. Yeah, It's been boiling for a while, and listen, if we'd have lost to Forest the other weekend, then that would have been 4 successive Premier League defeats on the bounce, which is not what we want to see. And he was criminally close to getting sacked last season before the Conference League final, criminally close to getting sacked last season, and he is hanging on I don't think the board will sack him, in my opinion. I think they will stand by him, but the fan base's views are different as for most things are to the people, the important people upstairs, of course.
Would you give him till the end of the season at least?
I think we're going to have to now, because his contract's out at the end of the season. Whether I want to, now, if you'd have asked me when Forest took the lead and went 2-1 up last weekend, I was shouting at the telly, "Just go, Moyes, just go," because the football's infuriating. The issue of it is we're playing completely polar opposite style of football to you. As I said just a minute ago, we're going to give sides 80% of the ball. We're going to be boring. We're going to play the low block, and we're going to try and frustrate teams. That's all well and good when you're winning, but when you're not winning, it's incredibly hard to watch. And we lost to Everton at home, which was painful. And we've lost some pretty bad games where there's no real sort of incentive to go, you know what? I think once we go 1-0 down, pretty much it, really, most of the time. And Kudus and Bowen have given us just a little bit of hope, but I think he will last until the end of the season. But it's just grinding through there, because the style of football is really painful to watch, and you will see that for sure next weekend. And yeah, it's an interesting one, because the fan base's views and football fans' views are different, because we've had people go, "Oh, you can't sack him, you can't do this." You haven't got to watch it every week. You see on TalkSport, you can't sack Moyes. What's he done? You don't watch us every week, which is the infuriating thing about it. But look, I think the way Burnley are going to play is going to play into Moyes' hands. I don't like the stat of not winning at home yet. That concerns me, because I know what West Ham are like, and you've got to win at some point. I mean, you're not going to go all season without winning a game at home. You've got to win one at some point, and this is one you'll be targeting for sure. I don't know what games you've got coming up over the festive period, but this is one I'd say you'd be looking at going, if we're going to win one, let's try and win this one.
Yeah, you've got to throw yourself in there. I mean, we've got you guys. We've got 2 back-to-back home games. Obviously, we've got you guys at home, Sheffield United at home. After that as well.
Biggie,
then we're away at Wolves. For me, them 3 games, are quite pivotal. Maybe is a strong word, but at the moment, we just need to get the performances right. I think that's what company's wanting. I think he's basing it off last season. In the Championship, it took 10 to 11 games before the team cohesion sort of, clicked. And I think that's what we're just hoping for. But we're coming up against some sides that are in and around us. And if you don't get the points from the teams around you, where are they coming from? We are already, statistically, 4 points worse off than Derby's record when they was in the Premier League, which is awful in itself. But however, this is football. It can results can change week in, week out. We could now go unbeaten for the rest of the season. Not going to happen, but a man can dream, can't he? So
the Premier League's funny this year because it's been quite bizarre, because loads of people in their predictions have Burnley up in 10th and 11th, and I don't know what your thoughts were on that coming into the season, but just as using us as an example, if we would have lost to Forest last weekend, I'd be talking to you now in 15th. But we won and we're 9th. It's incredibly tight, and there has been a gap that sort of built itself between the 3 that have come up. I think Bournemouth are there, and then there's a bit of a step up to Everton from memory, or Fulham or something like that. So there has already been a gap that's merged there. But do you currently yourself, how much, or a percentage, or some sort of number or percentage or whatever, do you think Burnley are going to stay up? Have you got hope there from what you've seen or not?
I've got hope that the performances will eventually churn out points. Whether it'll be enough, I don't know. I couldn't really say. The way we've gone, something needs to change. There's Burnley fans fighting amongst each other online, giving each other verbals and stuff. I think, funnily enough, I can't believe I'm bringing this up, but if you remember rightly, we had Joe Hart in the net under Sean Dyche, and it just weren't something were going wrong, and it just weren't going right at all. And the only position we hadn't changed was goalkeeper. So we dropped Joe Hart. Tom Heaton were back from injury. In fact, it was against West Ham at Turf Moor. Tom Heaton played in the net. I think we got the points. I think that was the day that Andy Carroll got sent off.
One of the days.
We ended up, yeah, but we ended up winning, and then all of a sudden we went on a run. Like I say, there has to be some changes made. If we do survive, it's literally by the skin of our teeth. I'm saying by the odd point or even goal difference.
Which is not looking good at the moment, really, is it?
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
But there's hope there. There's and I think what you've sort of implied to me is there's hope from the performances there that it can turn around. Look, football's a funny game.
Yeah.
The way you've got to look at it is, and to use Chelsea as an example, they beat the best team in form in the league 4-1, and then I thought they were 10 times better 6 days later, and they drew to Man City. So look, football's a very funny game, and I hope we aren't the team that give you the 3 points to go on and really go for it. I hope Sheffield United are the team that do that a week after, because they'll just blame Carlos Tevez. But but don't get me wrong, I hope you get out of it, because I quite like talking to you, and if you go down, that'd be a shame. I'd have to take the mick out of you again for another year. But a prediction, Dan.
Head and heart. What I would like to happen, I'd like to see a good 2-0 win, you know. But realistically, this is a game that's got either team scraping a 1-0.
Yeah,
I just think they're always sort of close. Over the years, we've had games where it's been aerial battles. You know, it's just been like playing, beach volleyball or something.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know. We'll just see how it pans out. But I mean, if I had to say 1-0 to anyone, I'd probably say West Ham, because we're dire. I don't know where the points are coming from.
Burnley,
I just want a good performance, mate. I just want a good performance. I'd be happy with that.
Burnley are a funny team because you've seen some pretty, you've been a part of some pretty low moments in West Ham. In West Ham's recent history, the pitch invasions in 2017, Roberto punching the air in 2019 when you beat us 3-0. Can't believe we lost 3-0 to Burnley away. No offense to Burnley, of course, but yeah, funny side Burnley. Something controversial or something bad always seems to happen when you play. Is hopefully not this time around. If you'd like Maxwell Cornet, we could just leave him up there with you. Please just take him.
What's wrong with him? Literally, there was a lot of Burnley fans who said in the summer to get him.
Honestly, I do feel for the lad, because he hasn't played. I can't recollect him playing. I don't know whether he's played a full game for West Ham in the Premier League. I don't think he has in 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
He has just not been given an opportunity at all. Actually, I'll rephrase that, because I think that's a bit harsh on Cornet, because he hasn't really had a chance to express himself. We'll keep Danny Ings up there if you want him. He's even worse. Danny Ings, just have him.
It must be bad when we got promoted. But there's always those players that you're like, oh, do you want to bring them back? Do you want to? No, he
used to play for Burnley, didn't he? Danny Ings, did he?
Yeah. That's when he made his name, and then ended up going to Liverpool.
Honestly, having back,
and then he got crocked. Ever since he shaved all his hair off, mate, it's one of them things. I mean, I didn't need to shave my hair off. I was already crap at football. But...
No, if I was to say, he's probably been one of the most. What's the word? I don't want to say hate, because that's a strong word, but he's been
consistently inconsistent.
Consistently crap is what I'm going to say over the last year. And there is not one West Ham fan that you'll find who will say a positive word to say about him, whether it's the system we're playing or whether it's himself. He is, whenever he comes on the pitch, I'm so tempted to either just leave or just throw the telly remote in the telly, because he's been that bad. I think that's what you need. So I'm going to give you some money to keep him up there, all right? Because
that's fine.
Honestly, he has been woeful. But anyway.
we need a goal scorer, mate.
Yeah, have him. Just have him back. Yeah.
I'll take him. But no, it's always good when you come up against West Ham. I love it. Gutted you're not coming up.
Yeah,
absolutely gutted. I needed to see the big dick. I mean, Rich. Obviously, your dad. But no, Who knows? Who knows? I'll see what the situation is for London Stadium, and hopefully I can get there.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. And, you know, we'll try and come up again in 4 years' time in the Carabao Cup when we play, because that's going to be the next time, really, isn't it? No, I'm only joking.
More than likely.
Let's round things off with my prediction. I don't usually like going with the same prediction as my guest, but it's the only thing I can see happening, to be honest with you. I'm going to go for a 1-0 West Ham. It's going to be Ward-Prowse putting the ball in, and it's going to be either Souček or Kurt Zouma will get their head on it. It's not going to be pretty. It's you know, from our perspective, if Burnley try and play football and haven't got the quality to break us down, then I think that's dangerous from your perspective, because Kudus has really given us just that extra dimension on the counter attack that we haven't had in the past. And Bowen and Kudus have been the ones carrying us at the moment, and I'd expect that to continue. Fingers crossed Bowen doesn't get injured playing 2 pointless games for England over the international break. But anyway, that's a debate for another day. But 1-0, I can see it right now, and yeah, let's hope you beat Sheffield United the week after and really get yourself going.
I hope so. We need to get going. Like I say, points make prizes, and fingers crossed it's the prize of staying in the division.
Let's see. Dan, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Give us some final thoughts.
Just good luck for the season. It's nice to see you doing well still, even on the YouTube front. And good to chat again. And thank you for having me.
No, thank you very much indeed. You can check out Dan on Turf Moor House TV if you can be bothered over there. 9th of March, we play you at the London Stadium. Honestly, if I was you, don't even bother. It's the worst away day you'll go on in the whole of the Premier League. But if you want to come down, come anyway.
Why not? You know what? I think you're only one of 2 London teams I've not been to yet.
Really?
I think it's just yourselves and Brentford.
Oh, I see.
So,
I see. Been to Tottenham's nice hull, have you?
Oh no, that's a lie, because I've not been to the new one. I've not been to the new toilet bowl.
Yeah, it's all right. That's all right. Right, we are digressing. Dan, thank you very much indeed. From me, come on, you irons, whatever you lot do up there. I don't know, just eat pies. Yeah, up the clarets, is it? I don't know.
We just cry. We have tissues to hand and just cry. That's it. All we do. It's like watching a chick flick up at Burnley at the minute. We're just constantly in tears.
Oh dear. I admire your honesty. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, check Dan out, and until next time, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. I'm this way. You've got to go the other way. It's all
I just had a weird angled thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Cool. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.